The message is very, very clear. The message is the biggest problem that we have on planet Earth right now is the ability to not integrate what we learn, to not truly embody the teachings and learn from it. We kind of have this mentality of doing something and then leaving it up to chance, not truly aligning with our true learning styles. That's kind of my mission today, okay? Looking a little bit like Tony Stark today with these. I'm starting to understand and feel this connection to my higher self and how he speaks and how he talks and how he embraces the now in any given moment. You see? Even the hawks are recognizing this. Let's start to actualize the reality that we're truly preferring. My name is Sumedh Chatterjee. I'm a flow state catalyst. So welcome to the channel if you're watching for the first time. We've heard it before. Knowledge without integration is mental masturbation. We're not truly tapping into the claircognizance that we truly deserve. We're tapping into just a basic understanding, or maybe we're watching a few videos or listening to podcasts or listening to seminars. But if you avoid taking action based on the teachings, based on the learnings, or you do some task and make it more interactive, you're never going to truly tap into that flow state. My business coach Joe describes this as showing them, telling them, and then asking for something, asking them to do something or some kind of a call to action. So when you begin truly understanding that this is how you teach others, you will also learn that this is how I will teach myself. I'm a Naga, so these Garudas follow me around. Hey, Garudas. Yeah, what do you want? I'm right here. What do you want? What, you want me to shout you out in the video? Or what? Nonsense. Anyways, so I got this from Hypnotica when I heard him perform at the last event of IMC Nation, which was Total Eclipse. Now we're moving into Carnival Code. And so basically this understanding was that suppression and repression is the cause of a lot of our problems, okay? And this is also what leads to unintegrated wisdom. When we learn something quickly or we just kind of skim through it and we don't truly make it a part of our own storyline, right? Our own life journey, how it implies to us, how we can give something more meaning than it already has. Through the lens of, integration means to bring two things together, to merge them. A lot of the times when we communicate with people, we're trying to appease them, we're trying to impress them, we give off this kind of a needy energy that I need it to go like this. It must happen in this way. And these expectations, they take away from the fluidity and the flow state, you see? So you got to just blend and let go, just practice letting go. And through your breath, through your movement, through your sounds, through moving the body around, you can finally let go of the different things trapping you. You going, you know how we do that sometimes? We just go, That sound of is actually a letting go. And it is perfectly normal. Some people might say, oh, that person is growling and grunting and they're rude. But that's exactly what they need in that moment to release that stress, to release that pocket of cortisol in their beingness so that they can activate something greater. So what if we made it a social norm to just go, okay? And you'll notice after you do that, you feel so much better. You're trapped by your own narrative. Okay, you're trapped by your own narrative that you created for yourself. So I must be a mother, I must be a father, okay? I must be a secretary. I must be a security person. And the roles that we give ourselves become the prison cell in which we live in. They want you to think about this really less like roles and more so like frequencies. You're being less particle, more wave, if that makes sense, okay? Less particle, more wave. And the way for integration can be different, okay? The way you integrate is through one of the 5 bodies: mental body, emotional body, physical body, spiritual body, and the energetic body, okay? These 5 is how we can integrate. So a physical integration might be to maybe itch your body, or maybe you have a rash that shows up and flares up on your face, or some kind of a somatic symbol. The emotional body relates to our feeling or our felt sense of self. So how are you feeling through your feelings? If you have an emotional block, you might have suppressed it, or there's something holding it back or keeping it there in the form of some pattern or a loop. Okay, so it could be a role that you're in, but it could also be a loop that you're in. A loop that you're in could very well relate to past traumas and things like this, okay? Then we have the physical body. So physical body, emotional body. Mental body is all about knowing some kind of value, belief system. So it might be a limiting belief issue. It might be an issue with, let's say, the mental world, things that you don't remember, reading books and learning like that. So it's some piece of information that you need to know in order for you to integrate, right? You know how they say knowledge is power? I think integrated knowledge is power. Once we understand this can really create our own life. Now, the energetic body and spiritual body, how do these differ, okay? The energetic body is what you'd call chi or prana or life force energy or odic energy or whatever you want to call this thing. It's the feeling of energy within the body, okay? So an energetic block might be the energy is too little or too much, right? Too much is too overwhelming. Energy drainage would be another energetic block. So you might be full on physically, but you have a emotional block associated with something. You might be full on emotionally, having the greatest emotional intelligence, but you still struggle with, let's say, integrating through your physical body, or your emotional body doesn't really merge well. You don't know how to feel through your emotions, and so you have an emotional body stuckness. But on the mental body, you're highly intellectual, and you are learning and integrating very well in terms of just like understanding, right? So we can all have these various differences. Through my system of understanding healing and coaching and energy work and bioenergetics and NLP and all the stuff that I do and know, I have slowly begun to understand the power of truly learning, taking action, integrating, reflecting on it. Because the reflection is also important in terms of the flow cycle, remember, right? The flow cycle actually ends with the recovery phase. So if you can really, really hardwire that recovery phase, this is why we also work with Lord Hypnos for a specific sleep ritual that we're currently working on, and it's been working well. I mean, he definitely knocks us on the head a little bit when we're up too late, so it's a great check. So then we have the spiritual body, right? Let's get back into this. So the spiritual body is associated with your spirituality, with your connection to source, with your universal line, connecting you. Some people, they're a little bit connected, barely connected, or they have a spiritual block, like an actual, like maybe energy, draining them. It could be an outside source or some storyline that other people might have of us as well. Could be related to our past life. Oh, there we go again, Mr. Garfield. And then we have our past life, karma and things like this too. I don't want you to use your past life as an excuse to not take action in this current life. That's not how we think here in Primal Sutra, okay? You gotta get real. You gotta get real. If you can't do the checking of whether you've integrated these on a very specific thing, you can always reach out to me and I can help you out with that. I would also get you to practice not holding or suppressing any emotions back, right? Like, I just did that, my neck needed to do that. You see what I'm saying? So allowing your body much more freedom to do what it needs to do. You might look weird to others, but it's a process for you. This is not a process for your own ego gratification right now. This is a process for your healing right now, right? So if you want to go and bend back like this and come back up, you don't need to care what, that some old dude sitting in the corner there looking at you. Like, it doesn't matter at that point. You know what I mean? Like, you're doing this for you, ultimately. So you are doing it for you, but it's not for a selfish reason either, because you're doing it for your community, your tribe, your people, anyone who comes into contact with your spiritual, beingness and things like this. And so you've been chosen to complete some specific path working, right? Some specific dharma or pathway that you've chosen, okay? Now, sometimes you might also get symbols that show up, just like, there's certain people who are meant to click on this video. There's certain people who just, it's not gonna reach them because they're not in that frequency yet. But once they hit this flow state activation range, they're gonna find themselves understanding what I'm saying, okay? Because this took me a while to really get a full understanding of what this means, because everybody wants to throw that word around, right? Integration, embodiment. But what does that really mean to you? Okay? My definition of embodiment is fully feeling through in my body that I'm the person that I deserve to be and I desire to be. So this is again from Hypnotica, what he said. The silky smoothness of your internal world that you feel, tap into that energy and see how good you can feel just with movement, just with breath, just with being present. See how you can retune yourself to not constantly be overstimulated by things, but to actually have little joys just like this, you know what I mean? Just to roll around and just be a part of this whole cosmic dance. Woo! These sunlight codes are absolutely phenomenal. Sheesh. Really powerful energy right now emanating off of me. And we were gold all along. Just a download that came in for me from one of my guides, Horus, or Haru, is that we were gold all along, and now we're starting to remember. As we remember, our muscle memory connects us to our bio memory. And our bio memory is connected through our chi line. And our chi line connects outwards just infinitely. Hold on, I gotta get back into the sun for these codes. I'm walking out of the sun, but the sun is giving me something to talk about. Hold on. But yeah, that slinky feeling of the internal world, right? Imagine your internal world is like silk or linen or a soft material that just stretches beyond millennia and keeps growing and expanding outwards. Just keep on expanding outwards, right? Like it's growing and growing and growing, and it's blossoming and it's blooming, just like a flower blooms. It's starting to engage and interpret your reality as the greatest version of your reality that you have ever seen. Let me tap in right now, okay? Let me tap into the sun, give you some light codes to end off with. All that we see is opportunity beaming at us through our retrieval process of being at one with our sacred solar plexus power that engages with the outer world and the inner world, both merging hemispheres, both merging pantheons, both merging worlds together that create a combination of two Stargate bridges that connect two worlds together. The lower and higher self befriending each other to activate through the center, through the core, through the groundedness of this immaterial prima terra. As it cleans up your astral body and acknowledges the golden warrior that has always been shining within you. The golden warrior of light that peeks through the edges of consciousness and directly envisions and connects with what is theirs. They have a lot of energy to give, which means they have a lot of energy to transmute. But that transmutation process happens through their living, through their embodiment, through their integration, as they live through each waking day They don't forget about the lessons that they learned a while back on their personal development journey. They've just found a way to integrate it back into their real life again. Woo! Light codes are strong, man. Sunlight codes, man, raw codes are strong. You know what I mean? Very, very potent masculine protection type of energy, right? Divine masculine. If I were to, let's say, shoot this video in moonlight, it would sound more so me tapping into the feminine codes or the way of the moon, okay, the lunar codes. We got to understand this, right? And we got to be able to revitalize and see ourselves as these flow state mages and Jedis who can basically tap into this holographic reality that is right there in front of us, and then be able to pick and choose and not be picky and choosy, but rather we're picking and choosing because that is what is meant for us. That is what is going to be attracted to us because we're living from that, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this video today. Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. Let's get it to the upward spiral gang. May we never be the same again. Woo! Let's get it.